The Cats of Ulthar by H.P. Lovecraft. They say that in Ulthar, which lies beyond the river sky, no one may kill a cat. And I believe it as I sit here, watching the one purring beside the fire. Cats are mysterious, tied to strange things beyond what we can see. They carry the soul of ancient Egypt and the forgotten stories of long-lost cities, Meroe, Ophir. They are kin to the jungle's rulers, heirs to the secrets of old, shadowed Africa. The Sphinx is their cousin. She speaks their language. But they are older than the Sphinx, and they remember what she has forgotten. Long ago, before the law forbidding the killing of cats was passed, there lived in Ulthar a sour old man and his even more bitter wife. They had a strange pleasure, trapping and killing the cats that wandered near their run-down cottage. Why? No one knew. Some folks despise the sound of a cat at night. Others just hate how cats slink through yards and gardens like ghosts. Whatever their reason, this couple took joy in it. And from the noises people heard after dark, it wasn't hard to guess that their methods were particularly cruel. But no one ever said anything to them. The looks on their shriveled faces were enough to keep people away, and their cottage, so small, so hidden beneath gnarled oaks at the edge of a forgotten yard, added to the unease. The townsfolk hated them, sure, but they feared them more. So instead of confronting them, they just made sure their cats never strayed too close. And when a cat did go missing, and a terrible sound was heard that night, the owner would mourn silently, or whisper thanks that it wasn't a child who had vanished. Because in Ulthar the people were simple, and they didn't know where cats first came from. One day a caravan of strange travelers arrived in town. They came from the south, dark-skinned wanderers in painted wagons. Not like the usual groups that pass through twice a year. They told fortunes in the marketplace and traded silver for beads. No one knew where they came from, but they prayed in odd ways and had images on their wagons, creatures with human bodies and the heads of cats, hawks, rams, and lions. Their leader wore a headdress with horns, and a curious disc between them. Among these travelers was a little boy. He had no mother, no father, only a tiny black kitten to love. The plague had spared neither of his parents, but it had left him this one small, furry companion. And when you're very young, a kitten can bring more joy than most things. The boy, his name was Menes, spent his days playing with the kitten on the painted steps of a wagon. On the third morning of the caravan's stay, Menes couldn't find his kitten. He cried in the market square. Some villagers told him about the old couple, and what people had heard at night. At first he wept harder, but then his crying turned quiet. He began to think, and then to pray. He raised his arms toward the sun and spoke in a language no one understood. Not that they tried too hard to understand. Because while he prayed, the clouds above began to shift into strange, shadowy forms. Hybrid shapes with horned discs above their heads, illusions, no doubt, born of imagination and grief. That night the caravan left, and the next day Ulthar noticed something. Every cat in the village was gone. From every hearth, every doorstep. Big ones. Small ones, black, striped, gray, yellow, white. Every last one had vanished. Old Cranon, the burgomaster, cursed the wanderers. He said they'd taken the cats in revenge for the boy's kitten. But Nith, the thin notary, wasn't convinced. He blamed the old couple. Known cat haters growing bolder with each passing year. Still, no one dared confront them, not even when little Atal, the innkeeper's boy, swore he'd seen all the village cats the evening before, walking in pairs around the couple's yard in a perfect circle. He said they moved slowly, solemnly, like they were performing some secret ritual only cats could understand. But who believes the stories of a little boy? Most villagers feared the worst, that the couple had enchanted the cats and killed them. Still, they kept their distance. That night, Ulthar went to bed angry and helpless. But in the morning, every cat was back and at every hearth, each one sleek, well-fed, and purring like nothing had happened. Not one was missing. People gathered in the streets, marveling at the mystery. Old Cranon still blamed the wanderers. He said, "Cats don't return from that house alive." But everyone agreed. Something strange had happened. because none of the cats would eat, not for 2 full days. They lounged in the sun or dozed by the fire but wouldn't touch meat or milk. A week passed, and that's when someone noticed. No lights in the cottage under the trees. No smoke from the chimney. Nith pointed out that no one had seen the old couple since the night the cats vanished. Another week went by before Crannan worked up the courage to investigate. He brought Shang, the blacksmith, and Thul, the stonecutter, with him. They broke down the rotting door and found only this: 2 human skeletons picked clean, and in the shadows strange beetles crawling along the dirt floor. There was much talk in Ulthar after that. Zath the coroner argued with Nith the notary. Crannan, Shang, and Thul were asked 1,000 questions. Even little Atal was questioned, rewarded with a sweet treat for his story. They spoke of the old couple, of the dark caravan, of Menace and his kitten, of his mysterious prayer beneath the changing sky, and of what was found in that shadowy cottage under the trees. And so the law was passed, the one spoken of by merchants in Hatheg, whispered by travelers in Nir. The law that says in Ulthar no man may kill a cat.